Stitch Cutie, welcome to the machine embroidery tutorial for your Harvest Wishes jar. Now this is from the October Applique Club box. Aren't these adorable? So in your box for October 2020, you received the Harvest Birdie mug rug and the materials for your Harvest Jar zipper bag. So again, we're gonna make this Harvest Jar zipper bag using our embroidery machine. So let's talk about what you need to have to get started. So first off, you're gonna have all your fabrics from your kit and your fusible batting. Use the instructions on your download page and make sure that you cut everything. Then of course you have your pre-fused laser cut applique pieces. I have mine laid off to the side. I've already peeled the backing off of them. And then of course we have our beautiful sulky threads. So we have the silver 1218 silver gray. We're gonna start with that one. Then we have 1056 medium tawny tan. We have our true orange 1168. Then we have our avocado green 1177. We have the, I think this is called bayberry red 1169. It's a really pretty burgundy type color. Then our 0567 butterfly gold and our 1005 black. Now of course I have my perfect stack. We have a video all about our perfect stack and how great it is. So it's got my cordless light pad, my applique glass, my cutting mat, my fusing mat, my Steady Betty. I have my Karen K. Buckley scissors that are sharp all the way to the point, really handy. And then of course I have my Steam Fast Travel Iron, which I just love. And I have my 3M transport tape that I'm gonna use to hold my fabric. So what I'm gonna do is load my Sulky Tear Easy stabilizer into my hoop, and I'm gonna load the file for the back of my zipper bag, and I'm going to load my silver gray thread. Alrighty, so what you have in your hoop now is a square stitch. And what we're gonna do is build the back of our zipper bag, right? So we're gonna flip this over to the back and we're gonna take a piece of our fabric that's meant for the back outside, and we're gonna put this where it covers that stitch square, right? So you have plenty of fabric. We're just gonna tape this into place nice and securely. There we go. And some days I feel like a lot of tape, some days I don't. So just do what feels right to you. Kind of feeling like a day of a lot of tape. Can you tell? I'm putting it everywhere. You just want to put enough to make sure that it's not going to move when you put it back on your machine, right? Because this is on the back side of your hoop. So get that taped into place everywhere. And now we're going to flip it over and we're going to first put our fusible batting in place, and you want to make sure you put the fusible side up. So that side with the web texture, you want to put that facing you. So we're going to just center that, and then you're going to put your remaining square of fabric right over it. And what we're going to do is baste our fusible, or not baste, we're going to iron our fusible batting to the outside of our bag. So what's on the back is the lining, and what's facing you is the outside of your bag. There you go. And we're gonna give this some tape too to make sure it stays in place. Now we're gonna keep that silver gray thread on our machine, and we are going to put this back on, and the machine is going to do all that nice cross hatch quilting for us, and it's gonna give us our first applique outline. Alrighty, take a look at that perfectly quilted bag. I love it. So now we're gonna put our first applique piece in. So it's the large little flower piece. And then the next step that we'll do, the machine, when we put this back on, is gonna stitch the little center of our flower for us. So now we have that stitched, we're gonna simply put our applique piece right in place. Now for the next two steps, we're gonna do color changes. You don't need to take your hoop on and off the machine, but I will, so I can talk to you about what we're doing. So first color change is to the butterfly gold, and the machine is gonna do a lovely buttonhole and accent stitching on the yellow part of your flower. Alright, take a look how good that looks. So now it's time to put on the 1130, the dark brown, and the machine is gonna buttonhole stitch. It's the last step of your little flower on the back. And just like that, the back of your zipper bag is complete. So you're gonna take it out of the hoop, set it aside. What you're gonna do now is re-hoop your stabilizer into your hoop. You're gonna load the file for the front of your zipper bag, and we're gonna get started. Alrighty, so now we have 2 lines right here, and that is going to tell us where we're going to put our zipper. Now, you want to pay special attention to the direction of your zipper. So, for example, I like mine to pull from top to bottom, so that's why I'm going to put my zipper pull at the top. Now, you'll want to also make sure that you know the orientation of your project in your machine. For example, you can rotate the file. If you've rotated it, it's going to affect the orientation. So just make sure you know where you're going. And what we're gonna do is just center this right down the center. And I do wanna put my little zipper pull a little out of the way so my foot doesn't hit it. And I'm gonna give it just a little bit of tape at the top and bottom. And we're gonna put this back on, and the machine is going to stitch that in place for us. Alrighty, so now our zipper is stitched in place. You wanna grab your 2 small rectangles, make sure they're nice and pressed. And what we're gonna do is flip our hoop over so we have the back side facing us. We're gonna take one of those rectangles, we're gonna put it right side down, and we're gonna put it about 1/4 inch past this left stitched line. And so when the machine stitches there again, this is gonna flip over and cover and form the lining of that side of our bag. So just make sure you have this nicely in place and give it some tape. There we go. Whoop, I tore my tape. There we go. And then a piece right here and right here. So now we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take our remaining piece of fabric, put it face down, and we're gonna go 1/4 inch to the right side of this line so that when the machine stitches there again and this flips over, that forms the right side of our bag. So just to make sure you have it nice and lined up and you're ready to go. And one thing that I love about this Tear Easy stabilizer from our friends at Sulky is I can see what's happening on the back too. So I can pretty much just line it right up. Pretty nice, huh? So now we'll put this back on with that silver thread, and the machine is going to do 1 straight stitch for us. So now that straight line has stitched, we're gonna flip this over, we're gonna remove the tape. And what we're gonna do is tape our piece up now, right? We're gonna just gently fold it over, lightly finger press it. And I'm just gonna use those same pieces of tape to hold this in place. There we go. Whoop. All right, and now we'll flip this over, and what we're gonna do is take our fusible batting, fusible side up, meaning the side with that web texture is up. We're gonna put that right up to this stitched line right here, and we'll simply flip this over, and we're gonna give this a press. So what we're doing right now is ironing that fusible batting to the fabric. And if you want just a little bit of tape, you can. Right there and there. We're gonna keep that silver gray thread on. The machine is going to do a beautiful cross edge quilting right here on this side of the bag for us. Alrighty, take a look at how good that looks. I just love this crosshatch quilting. So just like we built the right side of the bag, we're gonna start building the main part of our bag. So we're gonna flip the hoop over. We have our 2 remaining rectangles. We're gonna put it right side down. And this time we're gonna go 1/4 inch to the right side of this stitched line on the back. And we're gonna tape our fabric in place. So we're actually gonna leave this piece taped up all the way till almost the very last step. And that's so that in the end, when this flips back over, it covers up all the stitching so that you don't have to worry about whatever you're storing in this bag hitting your applique and maybe messing it up. So a little bit of tape here. We're gonna flip it over, and depending on the size hoop you're using, I'm using 8-inch squared. If you're using your 8x12, this might not fit and wrap around. It might just go totally on the back. But because mine does wrap, I am going to give this some extra pieces of tape right here to keep it from flopping over in my way. There we go. And maybe let's just do a little piece in the middle. Why not? I'm tape happy today. So now with the remaining rectangle, what we're gonna do is put it face down to the left side of this left stitched line. So when this flips, it will form the outside front of our bag. So just make sure that's nice and in the spot you want it, and do a little bit of tape right here. So when we put this back on, the machine's gonna do 1 straight line right here for us. Alrighty, so we have this straight line. Remember, the back is taped up. We're gonna leave that for several steps. And what we're gonna do is place this with the fusible batting side up, meaning the web texture side up, right at this stitched line. And you are going to simply fold your fabric, if you can get a hold of it, right over. And you just want to make sure that that batting stays right all the way up to that seam. And then what you're going to do is press it. So what we'll do now is keep that silver gray thread on for several steps more. The machine is going to do a beautiful crosshatch quilting on the left side for us, as well as give us our first applique outlines. Alrighty, look how beautiful. I just love this quilting. It lines up so nicely. So now it's time to iron our applique pieces in place. And there are a few areas of overlap, so you want to make sure you put them in the right order. So we're going to start with our jar. Isn't that a fun stripe? This is all Lori Holt fabric from our friends at Riley Blake. So we're going to put the jar and then the lid of the jar. How cute is that? Oh my goodness, adorable. There we go. So now we'll put our 3 flowers in place. Now they're all a little different, so you just want to make sure you have the right one in the right place. They'll be a perfect fit, so it's easy to know. There we go. Get that one ironed on. This one looks like this one because he's kind of longer. Yeah, perfect. So iron that one in place. And then this one's easy because it's the only one left, right? There we go. And now we have 4 out of our 5 leaves, so we just want to make sure we put the right leaf in the right place. So get this little guy ironed on. And this one goes right here. He just ever so slightly goes over that jar lid, just barely. And then we have 2 more right here. Let's see if I guessed the right leaf. Nope. Is he that one? That one's that one. All right. You can use your placement guide to check it too before you actually put it on your finished project. And then, let's see, is it that one or this one? Let's just double check. I believe he's this guy. Glad I went and checked. So this one will be our last leaf that we put on. There we go. So now we have all of the pieces ironed on right here. So we're going to put this back on the machine. It's going to give us our next round of applique outlines. Alrighty, now it's time to iron a whole bunch more pieces. So I'm actually going to sit down for this and let's get going. So there are a few areas of over and underlap you want to be careful about, and that is with your pumpkin. So what we're going to do is put our pumpkin stem on first, like so. And then we'll put our little pumpkin on. How cute is he? And then you'll notice that you have 2 of these little scalloped pieces. And that was, if you're not using your embroidery machine, you can actually do some hand embroidery on it. But we are getting to have our embroidery machine do that for us. So we're just going to put our little scallop piece right in place. And we'll put both, see, it gives it double lining. So we'll put the second one right over it. There we go. So if you're doing it with regular machine applique, you'd actually do some hand embroidery before you put it on there. So now let's do our little cone pieces. Now each of these little cones is a little different, so make sure that you get it lined up just right. May need to kind of turn it till you get it facing the right way. There we go. That looks like this one. Then the largest one is right here on this big flower. Put that right in place. And then this little one right here. Just turn till it fits. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. And now we're going to put our leaves, and then let's start doing all of these little X's, and then we'll do the little berries. Saving those for last because they're maybe the hardest to do. So now with the little X's, they're all exactly the same. So that makes it nice and easy. So I'm going to put a few in at a time, and they are not symmetrical within themselves. So one side is just a little bit bigger, so you'll be able to see that when you line it up. Oop. So I'm just gonna line all of them up and iron one time. I think that's easiest, but you can iron each one as you go if you want. The choice is yours. Let's see, I think it goes this way. Boop, boop, boop. So cute, these little things. There we go, and another right up here. There we go. And actually, I will go on and press these that I have in place so far. Just 3 more. So there we go, 1. Let's see, that way. There we go. And then this one. And this one. Oh my gosh, they're just so cute. So little, but so cute. Oop. There we go. And now it's time for some of the berries. So the berries and then the flower centers are all the same size. So just get your little pile. And what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna grab a couple of them and put them on several at a time. There we go. And I didn't peel my backing on these ahead of time just because they're so little. I wanted to make sure I didn't lose any of them, so I wanted to handle them as least amount of time as possible. So we're just getting these little berries in place. They're really not hard to put in place. It's more in my head that I think it's gonna be hard, you know? It's like one of those things. Aren't you glad you didn't have to cut them out though? I know I am. There we go. One in place right there. And let's just give these few a little tap so we don't accidentally knock them out. So we have 1, 2, 3 more little pieces to put on. So I'm just gonna grab 1, 2, 3, and we'll get those on. There we go. And now when we put this back on, the machine is going to give us another round of applique outlines, actually the last round of applique outlines. So it's going to tell us where to put these same little circles as our flower centers. And it's also going to give us our leaves on our pumpkin. And then last but not least, that cute little accent piece down here at the bottom. There we go. And that little piece right in, oop, he flipped over. Oh no. There you go. And he is right in place. There we go. So now it's time to put this back on the machine for our last round of applique outlines. Alrighty, so we have our last few applique outlines. So I'm just gonna start ironing on. So the first piece we're gonna iron on is this plaid stripe, little strip. And I wanna make sure you know to line it up right here. And you're gonna have extra that hangs off longer. That's because if you're doing the sewing machine version on your regular sewing machine, you need that little strip to be caught, but right here you don't need it. So just make sure that you're nice and lined up here and across the top and bottom, and that little extra just hangs off. Now we're going to put our 2 leaves in place. These are a cute little plaid, a little bit different fabric than the leaves on top, because remember these are going for our pumpkin and those are growing from the flowers, so they'd be different in nature. And then we have a little flower center in each of these. So while the machine was stitching, I did go on and peel the backing from these. And I'm just gonna put each one in place right in the center. There we go. Easy peasy. Oop, there we go. And another, now you'll notice in your kit, you're gonna have extra little circles. We gave you, I think it's either 1 or 2 extra you'll have, and that's because we figured there's so little if you dropped one. Let's say you have carpet, you might not find it back until you vacuum. And that's too late, huh? So we gave you extras. There we go. Little circle right in place. And then I'm just gonna zap all of them at once. There we go. So now for the next several steps, we're going to be doing thread changes. So I'm gonna take my hoop on and off, but you won't need to take your hoop on and off because, well, you're just changing your thread. So the first color change is to the medium tawny tan, 1056, and the machine is gonna do a little dashed line and then write the word thankful for you in the middle of your little piece right here. All right, take a look. Thankful to stitch, you'll notice you have some little jump stitches. So you'll just take your scissors and very carefully trim those. Ooh, and I love that these scissors are sharp all the way to the end. So it really does make it nice and accurate to trim this. So I'm gonna trim all this and then I'm gonna put it back on, and I'm going to load a white 1001, and the machine is gonna stitch around our little jar for us. Alrighty, take a look. How good does your little jar look? And your little accent is buttonhole stitched. So now it's time to load 1130, the dark brown, and the machine is gonna go around your pumpkin stem and then the 3 flower centers. Alrighty, take a look. The brown parts are stitched, looks great. Now it's time to put on 1168, the true orange, and the machine is gonna stitch your pumpkin. Alrighty, so take a look at your cute little pumpkin stitch. And fun, we did buttonhole stitching as the accent to give it that dimension as well, which is really fun. So now it's time to put on 1177 avocado, and your machine has a lot of stitching to do for you here. It's gonna do all of your leaves and then all of your little stems. Alrighty, so all your green leaves are stitched, your stems are stitched, looks great. So now it's time to put on the 1169 bayberry red, and the machine is going to do all those cute little berries and all the pink little flowers. Yay, so pretty. Look at those little berries and little flowers, so cute. And aren't you glad the embroidery machine did it for you? So now it's time for one of our final color changes until we're in the finishing steps. So this is the final applique color change, and that is to 0567 butterfly gold, and the machine is going to stitch all 3 of these cute little flowers for us. Woohoo! Take a look at all of your stitching up close. Doesn't it look so beautiful? I love it. So now we're on the very last steps to finish it off. So what we're gonna do is untape this lining, and we're gonna flip it around to the back. Let me just remove the tape here. There you go. Make sure you get it all off, because it'll stick to the base of your machine if you don't get that tape off your fabric, and that'll be messy. So there we go. And now we're just gonna gently finger press this over right here. There we go. And see, so now the inside of your bag is gonna be beautiful and smooth instead of seeing all those threads, which looks lovely. So there we go. Give this some tape in place. Now what we're gonna do, it's very important that you put the silver gray back on your machine, because the machine now, when we put this back on, is gonna stitch this rectangle for us to secure that fabric in place. Alrighty, so the front is totally done. However, you want to leave it in the hoop if you're going to finish it off in the hoop without binding. If you are going to put the binding on, like the sample, then you're going to trim 1/4 inch on all 4 sides of both the front and the back, and you're going to put them wrong sides together and then do your binding like normal. What I'm going to show you in the video is how to do it for in the hoop. So we're going to leave it in the hoop like I said, and we're going to unzip it. This is a really important step. If you don't unzip it, you will not have a zipper, and that would be really sad. So that's all you need to do to prepare the front of your bag. So I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to get the back ready to put in place. So what we're going to do is trim about 1/4 inch on all 4 sides of our bag. So you can see on my perfect stack, I've removed everything and I've gotten it down to my cutting mat, which actually came with my light pad. I love the Caterpillar light pad. I've had a lot of light pads in the past that I really like too, but I love that this is cordless, because I'm really not a fan of like cords everywhere. And I feel like I always have chargers and all kinds of stuff. And so it's just really nice to have a clean workspace like this. So there we go. Now what we're gonna do is, let me throw this away. We are going to take our hoop in front of us. We're going to take our bag, make sure you have your little accent facing the right way. We're gonna immediately flip it over. And all you're gonna do is make sure that you pretty much line the stitch squares up. It doesn't have to be exact, but you wanna be pretty close, right? There we go. And then what we're gonna do is give this some tape to hold it in place. And I'm gonna keep that silver gray tape on for this final step. And what the machine is going to do is a nice zigzag on all 4 sides of our bag. So then all we have to do when we come back is turn it right side out. So there we go. Let's get to it. Alrighty, so take a look. This is what it looks like in your hoop. We are going to take it out of the hoop, trim it, and turn it right side out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see it all done because it's just adorable. So I'm gonna trim like about 1/8 of an inch away on all 4 sides. You wanna be really careful. If you cut that zigzag, then obviously you're cutting your bag open. So you wanna be really careful not to do that. And it is a little bumpy when you cut over your zipper, but that's no big deal. There we go. And then this side right here. And one more trim. And then I'm just gonna kind of trim the corners, just sort of get that little pokey corner off to make it a little easier when I turn. And oh my gosh, y'all, I never have my turner back here. When I'm back here, my little tool that helps me poke out my corners. I don't know what it is about me. I walk away with it and then I go film and then it's not there. I'm starting to frustrate myself with that, I must tell you. So then I have my stabilizer, right? And I just want to pull it out. So what I do is I just take my scissors and kind of score it on one side, and then it's easy to just tear. Oh, that tears beautifully. Tear it right out. There we go. And now, I know it feels bad turning it inside out because you feel like you're really being mean to your pieces, but don't worry, it can take it. The machine stitched it really well for you, so your machine can withstand turning it. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Almost. See, doesn't that feel like you're just beating up your bag? You feel really bad, but I promise it's just fine. So now, start working on those corners. There we go. And then, oh my gosh, look how cute. Let me get this little part poked out good. There we go. I'm just gonna use the, actually let me grab a pin behind me. There we go. Let me close it so I don't accidentally write on my bag. But I'm just gonna use that. I can't believe I don't have my little turning tool back here. It's so handy when I do. And then it's a little harder to poke out the corner where there's applique, but just work at it for a second. It'll come right out. There we go. And now, oh my goodness, is this not the cutest bag? Don't y'all love that? I love that. Got a little string. Oh, let's cut that string. No strings allowed, right? There we go. Take a look at how cute this looks. I am just pleased as can be. I want to use it. Look at the back. I love it. Got little stray hairs. There we go. Oh my gosh, so cute. So just work on making sure you got all the lining right here nice and smoothed out. Give it a little press with your iron for a little final finishing touch. And actually you'll have a little bit of scraps left from your binding, and you can use that to make a cute little pool. It's that fun plaid fabric, and so you can have a nice zipper pool. And isn't this just the cutest? I hope you had as much fun as I did making this, and thank you as always for being a member of the Applique Club. Happy stitching!